Hello, and welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase with your hosts, Rita and Mel.
Hi guys, and welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase. So, we
got
have
a good one.
Yeah, we do have a good one. We always have a good one.
This is true.
So we're speaking to Ailish Castillo. She's an actress and producer and has her own production company, LionBear Films.
And I know that it's gonna be
Inspiring.
Yeah,
of course it is. So we talked to her about her journey from theatre, being born and raised in Cork, Ireland, moving to Dublin, and then also making that transition to moving to scary London. Yep, the big city. So we talked to her about her journey there, how she goes into writing short stories.
I just love the way that you say scary London. And we've got the police car going by.
It's not that bad. And luckily we're just on the outskirts, so it's fine. But yeah, so we go into her journey from moving from England as well, going to Toronto, and then eventually creating her production company, LionBear Films.
So let's not tell them anymore.
No.
Because we want you to go and
watch the interview. Bye.
Bye.
And welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase. Today we are speaking to Ailish Castillo from LionBear Films. Welcome to the show, Ailish.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's nice to have you on our show. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem. Gosh, it's an honor.
So you've been involved in theatre from a very young age, from the age of 6. Can you share with us this journey and what it was like for you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and we all grew up with that door being open to us to the arts. So whether that was singing, dancing, acting, or just a speech and drama class, to learn some poems, we were all given that opportunity. Because my mom just loved it. She'd bring us to the theatre a lot, and my dad as well was a big supporter of the arts. But it was myself and my sister that stuck at it and really wanted to do more than just a class. So we would then go to open auditions, which meant The Sound of Music was my first performance as Gretel. So that's when I was 6. So I guess that's when it started properly. And it just kind of continued organically from there. It wasn't a case of, right, so is that the decision that you've made now? You're going to be an actress. It's just something that I really enjoyed, and I loved being around people. I loved the process. I found the director very interesting, and I remember thinking, it was important, to have this role, and I took it quite seriously, even from a young age. I really enjoyed it, so I just carried on doing it.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
Great. Yeah,
great stuff. Were there any points of that where you actually felt, is this right for me, when you were, especially at such a young age? Or
That's a funny one. No, I didn't, because as a kid you just accept things. And if you're told, okay, so we're going to go to this show now, you just go, okay, we'll go. And I wasn't the child that questioned things a lot at all, because being the youngest of 5, my mom didn't have time to explain a lot.
Yeah.
She just had to, get on with it, get the dinner on the table, and if we had hobbies, take us to their hobbies. So I just went along with what was happening. And maybe that was a good thing, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It's just what I went through.
Definitely a good thing, because you're here today.
Yeah.
And without that journey you wouldn't be here talking to us. But also I think you'll find that your journey just maps out when you are going with the flow than overthinking certain things. So that's brilliant. Love it.
Yeah.
So you had an exciting time, especially when you were 16 years old, when you were playing the role of Ophelia. I mean, an agent spotted you and decided to sign you up that same evening. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, that was a bit nuts. I loved doing Ophelia, and at 16 I did feel quite young to be doing it, but at the same time we were studying Shakespeare in school, so I felt privileged that I could study it on a deeper level. And then during the performance, we were told, you know, oh, such and such is in the audience tonight, and oh, look out for whoever, you know. But I'm glad I didn't really take that on board too much. So it wasn't until after the performance that me and my mum then met my Irish agent. She's still my Irish agent now. And I remember we went for a drink with her. Obviously I didn't drink. And we just had a lovely chat. So I don't know, it wasn't like the way you might see in American movies that they bring you in, there's the big agent, you know. It was just a lovely chat that she had mainly with my mom, and I sat there, I listened. I was very open to the next chapter of perhaps going to auditions then in Dublin, because obviously she was Dublin based and I grew up in Cork. So it was a couple of hours on the train away, but I was happy to do it, and I was aware that I did want to definitely continue my career in the arts, even though I hadn't yet finished school. And my mom kind of never said no to anything. So she was very good. She let it happen as well.
That's great. So it sounds like a lot of the message there is being open to the opportunities that are coming up, which have kind of guided your career.
Yeah.
And I think has led to so many different opportunities, because you moved into TV work as well, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was 17, I got my first TV job, and yeah, you know what, you're so right. Looking back now, I didn't realize it at the time, but you do have to be very open in the arts and very versatile. You know, did I want to be a professional dancer? No. But did it help that I had 10 years of ballet? Absolutely. You know, not that I've ever done ballet in a performance ever, but it helped with poise, it helped with confidence, it helped with posture. And, you know, the same with singing. I'm so glad I took singing classes, because no, I've never done a musical. I don't think I'll ever want to do a musical. I would never be good enough, but it does help your voice on so many levels. And because I found myself walking into places open-minded and not having trained, that was the other thing. I was very aware that I didn't take 3 years and train professionally. So I was conscious of that fact, and I wanted directors to know that I was like a sponge. I would take on everything, and that every job, every even bad job or bad audition, I took that on board and I learned from it. So it was kind of like I had to keep the wheel turning, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? And even if it was a bad experience, to still take it as a learning and keep going, you know?
That's great, because that gives you that resilience to keep on moving forward, and to, as you said, to learn from the mistakes and learn from the bad experiences as well, because that makes you stronger and as an actor and singer and dancer. So how was the journey in terms of doing a TV show and being on stage? How different was that?
You know, it's funny, they are at complete other ends of the spectrum, but yeah, they are in the same arts, aren't they? They, you know, it is, acting for a camera is so completely different. However, I'm really glad that I had the roots in theatre approaching then a film set, because I felt like I could pull on the skills that I had learned in theatre if I needed them. So I felt like I had a base. You know, I know that's not everyone's choice. I know some directors like fresh, you know, raw talents that have never acted before in their lives. I never came to a job with that thing on my head that said stage actor either. But I'm glad I just had, I suppose, a knowledge of the art itself. So in that way, it's similar, like, you know, to know how to work with people and, just respond well, listen to the director, you know, that goes without saying in both art forms. But I loved that I was part of this process, and you walk onto the film set and you do slot in, and you do your best, but you don't have the ultimate control. But then I loved in theatre where you do start from day one, you work through your character with the other cast members, with the director, obviously, and build something together. So yeah, my heart will always be in theatre, but the filming process is like a whole other amazing machine, and I'm really lucky to be a part of that as well, you know.
Yeah. And I guess it was also a good grounding for you, obviously, where your journey's now led in terms of filming and your company. I guess it's kind of was a good start for you and take in all that experience.
Yeah, definitely. It was a training in itself, and I think I wouldn't be where I am today had I not had that experience, you know. And I think that's why I love producing now and having my own company, because I can work on a beautiful piece from the beginning now. I don't have to slot in halfway through or towards the end and then be at the mercy of someone else, you know, as to whether I even get the job or not. You know, that's the other thing. Like being in an acting box, it did constrict me. You know, I did find that I was limited to the roles that I was desperate to play. I had to depend on the agent picking up the phone saying, yeah, you've got a casting for it, even in the first place. You know, it's so out of your control. So definitely in the film process, being at the beginning of it and watching the puzzle pieces come together and know that you've been a part of it from the beginning, that is the most rewarding thing. Yeah,
exactly. That whole journey of blood, sweat and tears and laughter as well in between that is so important, and it's so rewarding, like you said. Yeah, definitely. So going back to the whole going with the flow and accepting what comes in your journey. So at the age of 22, you made the big move to London. So that must have been such a crazy change from being in Dublin or even growing up in Cork. What was your thought process? Any sort of kind of excitable times during that time, or thinking, did I make the right decision? Should I go back to Ireland or should I just go with it? How scary is London compared to Ireland?
Oh my God. I mean, when I think back now, again, it's like if I thought about it too much, there's no way I would have done it. Like, I remember being on the tube and I had my suitcase, which was quite big, and my backpack. And I was just at the station, I forget which, I think it might have been Tottenham Court Road, and I was looking up to see where to go next. And these people were just pushing and shoving me, you know. And then one woman said behind me, she said something like, you need to pick up the pace, pick up the pace. And I was just like, you know, I just didn't know where to look. I couldn't even walk fast enough. Like, that's how unprepared I was for London, you know. I had to quickly catch up, and gosh, I remember I stayed in a lovely a little house. I stayed there for free on the condition that I would nanny their little baby girl. And so that I could find my feet, get a waitressing job, and you know, things like, you know, a mobile phone, get a contract. And you know, I was so clueless and completely nuts. I wouldn't advise it. However, you know, it's brought me to where I am. And then after that, I ended up meeting my now husband. He was my flatmate in the next flat that I moved into. There was a 5-bedroom flat on Finchley Road, and he was the only boy, and there was 4 of us girls. And I just fancied him instantly, and I thought, oh my God, I'm such a loser. I come all the way to London and I start fancying my flatmate. I need to go to London clubs and, you know, shop around. But you know, the rest is history.
That's amazing. So you had a flatmate crush, which is great.
Yeah. Very, very silly, but you know, love is love.
Get to know the living habits before you commit, right?
Yeah,
so that's
true.
a good thing.
Yes, that was really good. We knew each other's bad habits, so yeah, there was no surprises.
Oh,
so
that's great.
So I guess London led to love and a blossoming career, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it helps that he appreciated the arts as well. He's in the music industry, so we both understood, you know, if he needed to go off to America on a job for a couple of weeks, and I equally, if I was on tour doing theatre, that you know, that's just the way it was, and yeah, we understood each other.
And I think, you know, Londoners need to learn, you know, just be a bit more patient with people.
Yeah,
The thing is, it really is, because even when we're traveling in London, we're like, okay, we can only go so fast. Like, you know, being in
I tell you, I started walking very quickly after that. I got my march on. I caught up. But yeah, we need to be more accepting of the outsiders, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. But again, no regrets. You made that move. You met your husband, and now everything's moving forward, which is amazing. So moving on from that, there's also the sabbatical that you did take once you know you established your family, and then you started venturing into short story writing. How did that trigger off? I think I'm going to write a short story. How did that come up?
So my husband got a promotion, which meant a move to Toronto for 2 years. And at this point, we had just married and had our first son. And I had just gotten back into acting after, you know, being pregnant and everything. And so I'd done a short film and a couple of radio plays. And I was just getting into the swing of it when this opportunity came up. And we thought, of course, we have to take it. But it did mean I had to knock acting on the head for 2 years, or possibly indefinitely. You know, what if we decided to live there forever? We didn't know at the time. But being there meant actually I was very homesick, and I was lonely. You know, it didn't, it took me a while to settle in. My husband was at work every day, so he had workmates, you know, to be friends with, I guess, but I didn't know soul. And I found it quite isolating, and also emotionally, the fact that I knew I wouldn't be going for another audition for, you know, a long time. And yes, we were planning another child, and, you know, we wanted a family, but that doesn't mean you're suddenly okay with every other part of your life kind of, you know, being shut off. So inside of me, I thought, well, why don't I just start writing? And I did. And that led to me wanting to remember my grandparents' past. And they had a very interesting, you know, past. So I decided just to write it down, just so I wouldn't forget. And I found I was sculpting them into short stories, and they were quite visual. And I thought, okay, this can't just sit here. I need to develop this. And so the creative bug inside of me was ticking again. And I then downloaded Celtex. It's just a free screenwriting format app or whatever. And I developed them into short screenplays. And by then, you know, we had a bigger family, and we decided, you know, time was moving on, and London was where we ultimately wanted to be. So by the end of the 2 years, we did move back. And I'm so grateful now for that time, because otherwise I wouldn't have had the headspace to even think about writing if I'd stayed in London. And so it's funny, things do happen for a reason. And now I'm so grateful that I have those short films, and I've developed one already into a really beautiful short film. And I want to develop my next one, provided I have the funding. But also producing other people's work now, that's opened more doors for me. And so when we got back, sorry, I digress. So when we got back to London, I thought, okay, what can I do with this? I was so raring to go. And I decided, okay, I've got to, you know, front this myself. You know, I know gone were the days where I was sitting as an actress waiting for the phone to ring. I had to get up and do something. And so I set up my LionBear Film company. And the LionBear comes from my two sons. My little boy, one's like a lion, the other's like a little bear. So that's so corny.
But you know what? It's made you a nice production name that you didn't really have to think about. I said, right, I'm just going to use you two.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't have to look far for my inspiration. Yeah, so it was good, and it also meant that I could take charge of my work and still be at home to pick up my youngest from nursery or to bring my eldest to school, and work from the laptop, which was something I wasn't used to as an actress either, but it's something that I delved into and I just absolutely loved. As I mentioned earlier, it's just so rewarding to be at the beginning of a process,
Yeah. Are you still doing acting as well as the production company, or are you more behind the scenes?
So I am more behind the scenes. However, I have two agents now, so I've one in England and one in Ireland. I still have them, and I'm very grateful that they still have me on their books. So I don't think I'll ever close the door to acting completely. I play the lead in The Widow, and that was more as homage to my grandmother. So no, I'll never close the door to acting. However, being in film production gives me such a great buzz that maybe they're on par rather. I don't know. They both make me happy.
Yeah. Never say never.
Never say never. Exactly.
And go with the flow. Just flow into it. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Ride that wave. You don't know where you'll end up, so just do it.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's great stuff.
So what is it about producing that you love? Is it the fact of being from like right at the beginning and seeing it evolve, or what would you say is your favorite part of producing, or is it the whole
Yeah, I think and just helping to find the different areas, find the best possible cinematographer, help be in the process, even in the writing process. And I just worked with my editor from The Widow. He wrote an amazing little animation, and I was happy to be in the process creatively as well. Like, he'd ask my feedback, my advice on a few decisions creatively and where the storyline was going, and also just kind of being brave about it. Like, I don't think I had the confidence before, but being in a producer's position, you kind of have to put yourself out there. You have to be a little bit, knocking on people's doors and saying, hey, give me your money. You could word it nicer, but that's ultimately a big part of it too. So I guess keeping it as positive as possible, and yes, it does get tiring. There are days where you feel like, oh my God, it's all caving in, it's all going wrong, this person won't work with that person, and those pieces aren't going to go well together, or something you thought was going to go smoothly maybe isn't. But that's actually kind of good, because it makes you work. It makes you kind of think, okay, how can I rework this? How can I get over that obstacle and make an even better production, out of it? So did I answer your question? I don't know. Maybe I just love the whole process of producing.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think with any career, you have your ups and downs, you have your frustrations, and to be able to keep going through that shows the passion. That's where the passion comes in, and the love for it. So
yeah,
you can definitely feel that from interviewing you.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So we're talking about now A Piglet's Tale, which has been accepted for 3 film festivals. Can you share with our audience a little bit about this short film, this short animation?
Yes, so it's in my view, I don't think there's anything else like it, out there. It's about this little boy who has a gift, and he can turn himself into a piglet at will. And this story then is how the parents process this. How do they deal with this little boy's special gift? Is it a burden? Is it, wonderful and something to be embraced? So I'm not going to tell you how it ends, obviously, but that's basically the storyline. But the inspiration is from, it just makes you question where we get our food from. You look down at your dinner, we don't know how that animal was treated, or it's a huge kind of animal welfare story, but it's a huge metaphor for it. And the way it's done is very artistic, beautifully animated, and yeah, the artists all worked on their own as well, which kind of suited with lockdown. It meant that they could just crack on in their own studios and then see things come together online, you know, or sorry, on the laptop.
Yeah. I mean, seeing the trailer again, like you mentioned about it, that it's a metaphor as well. And from what I got from it is from the human aspect of almost like hiding our talent in that sense. So this is just from the trailer itself, and I saw that journey for and you know, and you've gone into the point of, you know, the food that we eat, where does that journey come from? But even that boy being able to turn himself into a piglet, and whether that's accepted or not, it was just kind of what we go through as humans. So I thought it was really touching.
Oh, wait till you see the whole thing. It's stunning. It really, really is. And you know what? It's been accepted for 3 festivals, but I'm counting. I feel like it'll sweep the film board. You know, it's just one of those films that just stands out. I love it. I'm so proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, what else is on the horizon for LionBear Films?
So I'm currently writing, I've almost finished actually, my next short film based on the Irish community living in London in the 1960s. And it's called No Dogs. And I don't know if a lot of people are aware, but in the 60s there was an influx of Irish people to London, and also people from the Black communities, and people's reaction to that was quite interesting. And my mom remembers, so basically this is my grandparents on my mother's side. They moved over, they got a little house in Dagenham. And so they moved over, and they had enough rooms to let out to lodgers. And they noticed that when my granny went to the post office to put an advert up for lodgers, that the whole screen was full of posts for lodgers that said no Blacks, no Irish, no dogs. So, but that was accepted. You know, people read that, people wrote that down and thought that was okay. And it was also put up in a lot of people's house windows. So my mum would be passing, you know, just going to school and see that, you know, no dogs, no Irish, no Blacks. And so she has a lot of stories about those few years in London. So one of them is hopefully going to be a very touching short film.
Yeah,
that'd be really good.
That would definitely be, it's so insightful. Especially in this day and age, we tend to forget about what our grandparents, fathers, whatever, you know, our parents went through growing up, especially of an ethnic minority, coming from a different country into England was not easy. And I think we need more films to kind of show that, so then we can, you know, understand how blessed we are now that we actually were able to transition from that into actually have more opportunities. So important.
The issue, it's not really gone away, has it? It's definitely better. It's definitely, you know, evolved, so to speak, but it's almost like history repeating itself, you know, with what's happened in the world, you know, with the BLM this year.
Exactly.
You know, people were shocked, and, you know, I something inside me moved, and you know, I know that I want to show my children, you know, I want to keep them as open-minded as possible, and you know, make them question things and realize when something isn't okay or when something isn't acceptable. But in the 60s, people accepted that kind of, you know, racism, and and you think, oh, that's history, it's happened so long ago, when it's like, well, no, here it is, here we are in 2020. You know, so in a way, yes, this is a period drama that I'm making, but so much of what I've written, you know, you could just put 2020 there, and it would still make sense, unfortunately, you know.
And you can see sometimes it's whether it's underlying or more in your face, and you've got two spectrums that's happening right now. as as compared to the 60s, where it was definitely, you know, okay to say things like that. And you know,
but listen, we have definitely come a long way, and you know, I'm delighted to be living in England, and it's a funny one, isn't it? It's something that we need to talk about. We need to keep the conversation going.
And collaborate more. The more we, you know, push diversity, the better. Big
time. And I'm all about, you know, pushing women as well. I feel like, you know, women are underrated. We need to push ourselves and support each other. You know, there was this thing years ago where I felt like, you know, women had to be bitchy and women had to be catty, and you know, it's like, no, we don't. We need to lift each other up, you know, and support each other, and I think by doing that we better ourselves as humans, but also better ourselves in our career as well, because you'll welcome more opportunities, you know.
Definitely. And I think the great thing about more women working in film is they can have that network and they can get their message out there and gain that respect that they deserve, like yourself as well, in terms of the stories that you have and the message that you have to send out to the world, and that, you know, that you're highly respected just as being male or female. And I think it's important, and I'm so thankful that more and more women like yourself are coming out in the entertainment world and shining their lights, so to speak.
Oh, good. But look, I'm looking at two brilliant women right now. You know, thank you to you ladies. You know, you're giving me this platform to speak, and that's brilliant. So I think, and The Widow actually is about my granny on my dad's side, and she was alone and she managed to raise 3 kids, and no one really batted an eyelid. They just, you know, people are quick to criticize, but it's like, hang on, she did this in the 1950s. And, you know, bless her, like, she had a lot of problems going on, but women are strong, you know. Women
definitely
can do things that I think men would find very hard to do. And it's time we celebrated that. You know,
absolutely. And you know, owning production companies is just, you know, again, seeing a project from end to end is absolutely brilliant, and you go through your ups and downs, your frustrations, but you still get there. So that is
so rewarding. It's the most rewarding thing. Really fulfilling. And I mean, I recommend it only if you 100% want to do it, you know. Don't do it if you're half-hearted about it, because it's not going to work. You know, there's so much hard work involved. There's a lot that you need to do unpaid, and you know, it's sometimes thankless and it's other times so rewarding. So it's kind of, there's a balance. You gotta love it.
Be there, definitely. Well, I mean, this is so positive. So thank you again for sharing so much of your insights so far.
Thank you.
What would be your 3 tips to someone who wants to pursue a career in film, or even wants to start up their own production?
Oh gosh, well, starting your own company is easier than you might think. I mean, you know, I did it to protect myself so that, you know, everyone on set was safe, and you know, should anything go wrong, it would fall back on the company rather than, you know, me and my husband or whatever, you know. So it's actually quite an easy process, because people want you to do that. The government wants you to have your own company, and you know, just have the basics there. So that's quite easy to do. I think in terms of advice, keep going. Just keep going. If you want it that bad, you know, there is no one huge door that if that closes, then that's it. You know, you have to give up your whole career. There are so many windows and so many doors that will open to you. Getting a no doesn't mean it's a no for the whole project. You know, you've got to find a way around. And if you want something made, like I know that all the projects I've been working on, my heart has been in. And I think that really helps. You've got to love it 100%. So do it. Don't, you know, keep going. If you love it that much, just don't stop. And I guess also enjoy it, you know. Make sure you enjoy it as well. I think a lot of people put themselves into jobs because they think it's the right thing to do, or maybe because they got the right marks in school, and
Mm-hmm.
actually maybe it's not as enjoyable as they could be doing. They could be doing something else that would give them a lot more happiness. So yeah, maybe enjoy it.
Yeah, great tips there.
Definitely.
I don't know, what do I know? I'm a mad Irish woman.
It's for ourselves as well to keep
exactly.
us going, so it's amazing.
Good.
So where can our viewers go to find out more about LionBear Films and yourself?
Oh, cheers. Yeah, I guess the Instagram page, LionBear Films, is a good place. I'm often there, and I'll always reply to messages. Equally, Facebook. I have a page on Facebook, LionBear Films. You can catch me there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'd be the main platforms that you can go to.
Amazing. No, that's great. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
It's
Oh, thank you for having me, ladies. You're brilliant.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, again, you know, everyone's gonna get all the details of where to follow you and where
Right.
to catch more about LionBear Films in the descriptions below. But thank you again, Ailish, for being a guest on RIME Entertainment Showcase. It's been amazing.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks, Rita. You're gems. Thank you.
So, as we said, wasn't it inspiring?
Of course it was. Absolutely. There was so much we got from the interview, as we all do with all of our guests.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for you guys that are in filmmaking or looking to branch out into filmmaking, either wanting to be an actor, actress, producer, director, starting your own film company, I think you've definitely got a lot from today. And you know, all we can say is follow at LionBear Films on Instagram, follow them on Facebook, and again, details below. Don't forget to look at the details and in the description. Oh, okay, she got carried away just pointing down. But also, again, you know, check out the trailer for A Piglet's Tale. Again, it is going to be screened throughout so many film festivals. It's really exciting, and it's a very deep animation, so we definitely know you'll enjoy that.
Yeah, and just, you know, as she said in the interview, it's about just being open and going for it. And if you're not afraid of some hard work, some ups and downs, hey, just run with it.
Just run with it and have fun. Make sure you do what you love, and do it for your purpose.
So, are you going to share our social medias?
Of course I am. Thanks for the prompt. So again, you know, you're going to follow at LionBear Films. You're also going to go onto Instagram and follow us on at RIME Entertainment Official, or on our other handle at sisters_in_rhyme. And how do we spell rhyme? RIME. So don't forget to follow us. Please, you know, comment below, tell us how inspired you were for today's interview. But in the meantime, bye!
We hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for more RIME Entertainment Showcase.